Today, more, what are we calling this series? Under the Radar Burgundy. I have a whole playlist of those. I'll put a link to that. It's probably going to be that side. I have had the previous vintage of this. It is Rossignol Trapet's Bourgogne Rouge, their absolute basic level red Burgundy. But the parcels from which the grapes for this are sourced are actually in or kind of on the edge of Gevrey-Chambertin. The two vineyards are Pressonnier and Grand Champ, and I think possibly one of those was kind of half in, half out, weirdly, of the area that can be classified as Gevrey-Chambertin. Either they chose not to label this Gevrey-Chambertin, or it could not be labelled Gevrey-Chambertin. The vintage 2020, as I've probably complained about before, I'm not sure I've yet had anything from that decade onwards that has really blown me away, but let's try this and see what it's like. I've managed to get a bit of cork in here, haven't I? Bit green on the nose to begin with. If I'm honest, I'm really quite green. That's not obviously fruity, and it's definitely not the cherries, say, that I would hope for. And now a bit of sort of forest floor. I am sitting on the forest floor, but that's not environmental, it's the forest floor from the glass. And there's some sort of vague berry fruit background there, but not a great start. Not terrible on the palate. It's quite dry, quite savoury. There is a little bit more fruit character there possibly, but if it's red berry fruit, it's in at the kind of dry sort of cranberry kind of end of the spectrum. I suppose the acidity is quite nice. There's a peppery tannic finish there, a little bit austere, a little bit green. Perhaps it needs a bit of airing and it might improve. I'll come back to you in a minute. With a lot of swilling and airing, a bit more fruit has emerged. I get a hint of cherry on the nose now and a slightly sort of fuller fruitiness on the palate. But the greenness around the edges on the nose hasn't really worn off. This is second glass now. And I'm noticing the finish is really pretty tannic, actually. I think the official tasting notes for this said something like medium tannins. I mean, maybe that is medium tannin. I'm used to wines that are with relatively light tannins. And that's on the high side of medium, the tannic finish there. It's sort of bordering on a bit mouth puckering. So this definitely is not shining as it is, I'm afraid. And this could be down to the vintage. I hear mixed reports about 2020, but I think it was a very difficult year for various reasons. As I say, I've yet to have a shining example of a fantastic wine from that year. Maybe they're just a bit too young still. Yeah, oh well, this certainly isn't great. I'll make a stew later or something. Dump the rest in there. Anyway, cheers.